The universe, according to ancient Zoroastrian theology, is a battleground. On one side is Asha, truth, light, and order. On the other is Drush, chaos, falsehood, and darkness. For the kings of the ancient Persian empires, this cosmic struggle dictated official state policy. They viewed themselves as the chosen earthly agents of Ahura Mazda, the supreme god, tasked with the responsibility of holding back the void and maintaining order in the physical world. This mandate required organizing a territory that stretched from the mountainous borders of the Balkans in the west across the arid plateaus of the Indus Valley in the east. To manage millions of people across these diverse cultures, the empire engineered a bureaucratic solution, the satrapy system. They divided the realm into specific administrative regions, each ruled by subordinate governors who answered directly to the seated king. Holding this grid together required massive infrastructure. The state constructed an extensive network of loyal roads, dotted with supply depots spaced exactly a day's journey apart. To ensure loyalty in distant provinces, the king deployed a network of internal inspectors, known as the king's eyes and ears. Every road built and every tax collected served a dual purpose. The Persian administrative grid acted as an earthly reflection of divine harmony, framing the mundane logistics of governance as a holy war against chaos. Enforcing this order across continents required the state to concentrate massive amounts of earthly wealth at the center of the realm. The scale of Persian wealth sparked legends among their Greek enemies. The historian Herodotus recorded elaborate tales to explain the riches of the East, including reports of gold-digging ants larger than foxes that allegedly surfaced precious metals in the Indian deserts. Thousands of tribute lines funneled resources into the central treasury, allowing the empire to hoard 238 tons of silver annually. Stripping this silver from circulation caused massive deflation. Regions lacking mines, like Babylonia, saw growing economies stagnate as money vanished. The necessity to pay these assessments in silver forced Babylonian landholders into a corner. To acquire the required currency, local farmers and elites pledged their lands and their labor to wealthy merchants and Persian officials, effectively transferring control of regional agriculture to a few powerful hands. The intense pursuit of a perfectly structured centralized order inadvertently produced its opposite for those at the bottom of the hierarchy. By hoarding wealth to maintain light at the center, the empire cast long shadows of economic suffering across its provinces. Centuries later, the Sassanid Empire revived this cosmic mission. They refined the previous administrative models and ushered in a cultural and intellectual renaissance across the Middle East. The Sassanids utilized breathtaking craftsmanship to project Hwara, a mystical aura of divine legitimacy. Images of the king on horseback, effortlessly hunting wild game, served as physical proof of his divine right to bring order to the natural world. This aura extended into the opulence of the Sassanid court. Elaborate New Year banquets featured heavy silver wine vessels shaped like horned animals. These exclusive rituals and luxury items were meticulously designed to reinforce a rigid social hierarchy. To solidify this absolute power, Sassanid rulers enforced a severe, orthodox version of Zoroastrianism. The relationship between the state and the divine was carved into stone, and anyone who renounced the official religion faced execution. This rigidity eventually triggered a breaking point. In the late 5th century, a radical philosophical backlash known as Mazdakism erupted from within the empire's borders. The Mazdakites turned the state's theology against it. They argued that the hoarding of wealth was itself a manifestation of evil. In response, they preached an early form of religious communism, seeking to dismantle the social hierarchy, to redistribute property, and share resources equally among the poor. The drive to enforce a rigid divine order had inadvertently incubated its own antithesis, a revolutionary ideology that the state viewed as pure chaos. The Sassanid state responded with force. Under the crown prince Khosrow, the empire initiated a brutal crackdown, massacring the Mazdakite leaders and driving the radical movement underground to preserve the established hierarchy. This chart shows the fatal toll of that preservation. The Sassanid state was drained dry by relentless internal policing on one front and centuries of repetitive warfare against the Byzantine Empire on the other. Barely surviving its wars with Rome, the exhausted political body of the Sassanid Empire simply could not hold. In the 7th century, the state rapidly fell to the early Islamic conquests. While the physical borders of the empire evaporated, its essence remained. The rigid administrative structures, the intricate courtly diplomacy, and the deep philosophical traditions of the Persians survived intact. These complex Persian frameworks were almost entirely absorbed by the nascent Islamic world. The victorious caliphates utilized Sassanid tax systems and adopted their artistic motifs, governing vast territories using the blueprints left behind in the ruins of cities like Ctesiphon. The intellectual current flowed further. Greek and Persian philosophical, medical, and astronomical texts, preserved at Sassanid centers of learning like Gundeshapur, eventually made their way westward, directly shaping the trajectory of medieval European thought. The ancient Persian kings failed to conquer the physical world forever, yet their dualistic engine, the struggle to build lasting structures of light and order in an inherently chaotic universe, became a foundational blueprint for the civilizations that followed.